Savage Nation because the mayor told him to do nothing. Also, the police were threatened by the FBI. We heard all day long, oh, the FBI is monitoring the situation. What do you mean monitoring the situation? To make sure the police didn't do their job. That's what the FBI is for. They're fundamentally a police force controlled by Obama. That's strictly what the FBI has become. A group of thugs who intimidate local police forces and prevent them from doing their job. So you can say there's a lot of blame going right to the top, that's all. And in today's speech, finally when it came from Obama, he was very fair in his comments. He blamed both police and rioters. But notice that the great president failed to take any responsibility for all he has done to demonize the police over the long years of his reign, right? We have the sound of all of that. And why have the ringleaders of these riots not been named or arrested when their names are all over the internet? Can anyone explain that? Will Obama call them undocumented shoppers, those who were arrested, and then grant them amnesty? Arrested several hundred of the undocumented shoppers, and I suppose that Obama can grant them a pardon or amnesty as soon as possible. If you care to sound off on the problems that you see going on in Baltimore and in the country in general related to Baltimore, because this did not occur out of a vacuum, there's no question about it. There's going to be billions of dollars stolen as a result of this. All of the sharks are lining up. Former Maryland Congressman Kwesi Mfumi says we need a Marshall Plan for Baltimore. What does that mean? It means you have to pay out of your pocket. Al Sharpton, the con man, the outside agitator, the all-around bad guy, says poverty is the basis of what to set this off. Listen to Al Sharpton in clip 22.
There are issues that have been going back for years, and there are underlying issues like poverty, like unemployment, that really is the basis of any spark could have set this off.
Oh, Having said, I've heard this crap my whole life. I was growing up in poverty. I didn't go burn a building down. I didn't beat up old women, hit them over the head, and steal a purse. I was also unemployed. I didn't kill anybody. Don't give me that garbage. I killed myself to get a job, Al. I don't see you suffering any. Yeah, unemployment. You're not unemployed because you're such a dangerous character. They hire you at NBC to keep you off the streets. Unbelievable what a country we live in. What a country we live in, that they let this outside agitator, a lifetime of outside agitating, to go to Baltimore to try and what? What's he going to try and do? Stick his fingers in it? The only one missing from the puzzle is Bill Clinton. How come he hasn't gone there to see if he can get a little donation to the Clinton Foundation in exchange for something? Where's Hillary, by the way, in all of this, the woman who would be president? How come she hasn't said a word about the riots and what she would have done? Would she have done anything differently or told the police to stand down? Where is Hillary Clinton, the woman who would be president? We know where Bill is. He's on the way to Africa. The book that exposes the grift and the greed is coming out next week. He's on the way to Africa to save the poor Africans from themselves. You didn't know that? Bill Clinton heads to Africa as foundation scrutinized. Washington, with his charity foundation under fire, Bill Clinton is headed to Africa to tout his organization's good works and conveniently put himself several thousand miles away from those probing his unorthodox financial activities. Clinton heads to Tanzania on Wednesday and Thursday, where he'll highlight Clinton Foundation projects that are meant to boost crop yields, dispense vaccines, and otherwise improve quality of life for the country's poor. Well, as I said about the missionaries who came to Hawaii many years ago, they came to do good, and they did very well indeed. No question about it. Some things never change. Let's go to the callers on the Savage Nation, WABC line 5. Fire away. You're on the air with Michael Savage and millions of others. What's on your mind?
Most of Obama's policies exasperate the problem. Like you were saying, they take fathers out of the homes. I attended one of President Obama's My Brother's Keepers events, and I was appalled because the speaker said to the kids, 90% of you come from broken homes. You live with your grandmother, your aunt. But he didn't follow by saying, it's up to you to break that cycle. And I want to add to Indian Americans, dark-skinned Asians, they're banned from My Brother's Keeper. Michelle Obama, inner city Newark, black girls rock. You should have said, because you rock, have your baby after you're out of college, when you're older, when you're married. So They always sidestep 73% out of wedlock in the black community, much higher in the inner city. They don't want to talk about that. They actually make things worse with their policies. They create government dependency.
You said it all, my friend. There's no point in commenting on your comments. They were a very clear set of comments. Let's go to the next caller on the Savage Nation. WJR in Detroit, Michigan. You're welcome to the Savage Nation. What's on your mind, my friend?
Anna, I admire you, Dr. Savage, for your bravery and fearlessness, being really inspiration to me. Here in the Detroit area, we had this year a couple of instances where police officers were involved in beating up pretty severely a couple of black men. And one police officer is charged. The other one is being, the charges were dismissed. But because we elected a white mayor, someone that is not corrupted, it makes a huge difference. They were trying to start the riots here in Detroit, but it didn't work. He's very good mayor. He's keeping in touch with the city council, with the prosecutor.
Well, in Detroit, there was a great, one of my favorite shows on TV is American Greed on CNBC. They did a whole thing on the corrupt mayor of Detroit. He robbed the city blind. He robbed the city blind. He feathered his own nest, his family. Does that sound familiar to you? Does it sound like the Clintons?
Yes, exactly. Now the new mayor is different. He's not corrupted. So they were trying to start the riot in here, but it didn't work because he wouldn't fall for it.
Listen, stay on the line. I'm sending you a free copy of my new novel coming out next week. Can you believe it or not? Countdown to Mecca. It'll be on the way to you just about overnight. That opens up one line at 855-400-7282. The minute I come back, I want to go to the callers because many of you are dying to give us your 2 cents on what's going on in Baltimore and what you would do to make it certain it doesn't happen in your city. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN.
My thoughts are with the police officers who were injured in last night's disturbances. It underscores that that's a tough job, and we have to keep that in mind. And my hope is that they can heal and get back to work as soon as possible.
Oh, come on. Look, most of it's just political, window dressing. We understand that. He didn't know what to say, okay? So he blamed everybody but himself. That's after 6 years of attacking the police in America. All of a sudden, he doesn't know why there are riots against the police. They've neutralized the police. They're afraid to do anything right now. And this is going to get worse, not better. Now, caller on my show in the last hour said she worked for a state legislator in Maryland. And she said clearly that the cops were told directly from the mayor's office to stand down. That is breaking news. WBAP in Dallas, line 2. Make your point, please. You're on the Savage Nation.
Yes, hi, Mike. To piggyback on what that lady was talking about, the situation between Stephanie Rawlings Blake and the former governor of mayor and governor, he also was endorsed by her father when the first time he became mayor. He absolutely cherry-picked her to replace Sheila Dixon. Also, this has absolutely nothing to do with Freddie Gray. This has everything to do. Baltimore is a horribly economically depressed city. The unemployment rate amongst black youth is above 70%. Also, if I were the governor of the state of Maryland, I would demand the resignation of the mayor. She has absolutely no control of the situation.
Well, let's talk about unemployment. Tell me what they're capable of doing. What kind of work are they capable of doing?
The majority of them, from what I understand, they usually look for restaurant jobs, working in places like the places that they burned down, like CVS's, Walgreens.
So they burnt down the one place that was put in their community to help them get a job. Is that it? That made sense.
Yeah, and
So
what's the mayor giving a conference for like she's a movie star with the baseball hat? Give me a conference now like she just had a victory. She's ready to go on Oprah all of a sudden. They gave her a baseball hat, and she's congratulating herself and everyone else for what? That only half the city burnt down? I never saw any stupidity like this. She looks like a first-class dumbbell.
Yeah, well, again, if I were the governor, the best way to handle the situation is demand for her resignation. She is part of the
Of course there should be a demand for resignation for telling people have the right to break things. Everybody knows that she gave them a little leeway there. Now she's trying to say she did a great job. Only 50% of the city burnt down. But it's early yet. It's early. Tonight's another night, you know? Okay, look, I've seen this my whole life. I've heard the justification for this kind of garbage my whole life. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of listening to this crap that they need jobs. Because if you gave most of those rioters jobs, A, they wouldn't take them, number one. And two, if they did take them, tell me what kind of employee they would be. If you own a business, you know exactly what kind of employee they would be. They have no skills whatsoever. They have no English skills. They have no discipline. They're surly. They would not listen to you telling them what to do. If you tell them what to do, they'll have to punch you in the mouth. So tell me what they're capable of doing in our society. What are they capable of doing, Mr. Obama? That's the real issue. Employment. I love the jobs. Same crap we heard about ISIS. Remember? She said they needed jobs in the Middle East to stop killing people and cutting their throats.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
And as a society saying, what can we do to change those communities, to help lift up those communities and give those kids opportunity?
I can't take this anymore. It's not my job to lift up the community. Let them lift themselves up, like I did. Lift up the community. I'm going to go work like a social worker. I was a social worker for many years. I didn't lift anyone up. They robbed the system blind. I was a social worker in the early days. I was an idealist. I saw how they ripped the system off. They lived better than I did as a college graduate. Go lift up the communities. Rubbish. I've heard this garbage my whole life. I'm just sick of it. Don't you understand? And let me tell you what's going to happen tonight. And I pray I'm wrong. You got state police there. Chris Christie sent a number of New Jersey state troopers. At least that's a positive act. You got National Guard. They're armed. I will tell you what's liable to happen. The white communist outside agitators who are there in the crowd are praying to God they can provoke someone into getting shot. They want another incident. They want an incident. They're going to try to provoke not the police, but the National Guard or the state police into some sort of reaction, so they can claim martyrdom again. Listen, all you got to do is read Orwell's Animal Farm to know what's going on, and you'll see how this works. And you'll understand this country is being run by a bunch of race baiters, a bunch of outside agitators who got very lucky and very far, and that Obama's really Al Sharpton with a smoother act. It's that simple. KSFO Radio, San Francisco. Go ahead, you're on the Savage Nation.
Hey, Doc. I just wanted to say, like, I'm a young black man watching what's going on in Baltimore. It upsets me for a number of reasons, but I guess if you want to call them protesters, like, they're all hypocrites. We get upset because a black man dies at the hands of police, which I'm not saying there's not a problem, because there is, but we kill each other every day. It makes no sense. We don't protest. We don't say anything about that, but we're getting upset because a few
That's a good point. No, I didn't even think of that point. You mean black on black crime?
Absolutely, black on black crime. I mean, I just me myself personally. I personally know people that have been killed, have been victims of black on black crime. And I'm talking about we shoot each other in the head, Doc. It's going on. It happens in our streets, in inner cities, all across America, every day. And we as a people, black people, we're not saying anything about that. I mean, other than lip service. Other than that, it happens every day.
Right, and we don't really know what happened to this guy Gray. We don't know whether his spine really was severed. We don't know what really happened. We hear he was an innocent man. I don't know if that's true. We don't know what went on in that van. We don't know what he did before it. I don't know. But that's irrelevant. You're saying they're using it as a pretext to burn the city down.
Absolutely. And it's just messed up because you take cases like Eric Garner and I think it was Timian Wright.